It's probably been years since you generated any leads from Google. Not me. And no, I'm not talking about expensive pay per click. I'm talking about people searching for agents and you coming up. It's part of your online footprint. And if you're like most agents, you simply aren't generating leads from it. My name is Levi Jones. I'm the founder and head coach of Guerrilla Realty. And I want to help agents begin to optimize their infrastructure marketing. That stuff you already have out there that points back to your business, but rarely generates you anything right now. In this case, we're going to be optimizing your Google business page. It's easy, takes just a few minutes, and make sure you are squeezing every last lead out of something that you already have. We do a full 1 hour live training on this, by the way. We include the Google Profile Optimizer tool, photo templates, and everything you need to execute this strategy and start generating leads from your Google profile. All you have to do is like this video, share it with another agent, and then comment shared below. I'll send you a private link to the full resource. For now, let's jump into the strategy. Before we dive into optimizing your Google business page, you need to understand where it fits in the marketing pyramid. This isn't direct response. It's not sphere of influence marketing. This is infrastructure. And it's a building block every agent needs to optimize. When your Google business page is dialed in, every single thing you do gets amplified and you generate new clients with zero extra effort. Every successful top producing agent has a marketing pyramid that looks something like this. They start with a very strong foundation of direct response advertising. And this is where you look at things like, running paid ads or social media marketing or cold calling or even direct mail. You could even throw in things like open houses, things like this. The top producing agents, this is the largest part of where their business comes from. To be honest, you could even throw in paid lead sources like Zillow or homes.com or realtor.com. They're doing the direct response marketing for you, but these are all marketing efforts that require a response from the consumer. Okay. Now, after direct response marketing, the next level of marketing efforts is the infrastructure marketing. And this is the stuff that's evergreen, that's just sort of always out there, always present. And these are things like park benches, yard signs, business cards, and even digital infrastructure like your presence on Google, Bing, Yahoo, Yelp, etc., your Zillow reviews. These are all digital infrastructure that is constantly just a presence out there pointing back to you and your business. And then the icing on the cake, the smallest piece of the pyramid, should be your sphere of influence marketing. The sphere of influence marketing is going to be your friends, family, referrals. And again, if you look at the marketing pyramid for any top producer, they consider the sphere of influence the icing on the cake. They don't build on that. They build on the foundation of direct response. That's the largest part of where their business comes from. Then they have some infrastructure marketing that's constantly out there, constantly lead generating for them. And then again, the icing on the cake is the sphere of influence marketing. Here's the problem. Most real estate agents don't have a marketing pyramid that looks like that. They have an upside down pyramid. In other words, they build their business. The majority of their effort goes towards nurturing their sphere. In fact, there are coaches that build their business on helping agents work their sphere. And again, if you're in this boat, you actually probably saw, I did a decent amount of business a couple of years ago when the market conditions were ripe. Lots of people in your sphere were moving, but on average, and if you have a sphere of 100 people, statistically, you're only going to have 2 to 3 closings per year from that sphere. And that's just the reality. And most agents have that sphere as their base. Then they add in the infrastructure marketing. Infrastructure marketing, of course, is the business cards and stuff like that. And they might get another 3 to 6 closings from that if they have it. If they put any effort at all into it. And here's what's funny is that they don't have any direct response marketing. In fact, this may be you. You may be looking at this and being like, yeah, this looks like my marketing pyramid. It's upside down. If this is you, then you're probably like the average full-time real estate agent, and you generate about 7 closings a year. And you're wondering why you can't scale, why it's difficult to grow, why you really feel in the pinch in a market like this. Then others of you might be going, well, Levi, I generated 5 closings this year for my sphere. Well, great. Statistically, on average, you're going to generate 2 to 3. Again, if you have a sphere of 100 people. And so if you generated 5 this year, that means you're probably generating nothing next year. It's just the way averages work. Okay. So we want to avoid the upside down marketing and instead build the marketing pyramid this way. And I go through all of this because I want to put the strategy that we're talking about in the proper place. First things first, we're going to get rid of, completely eliminate the upside down marketing. In fact, I want you to commit to that. Regardless of whether or not you implement this strategy going forward, I want you to commit to getting rid of the upside down marketing pyramid. For this to work, we want to have a marketing pyramid that looks something like this. Direct response down at the bottom. You can scale that. 30 plus closings is actually pretty easy to get. We have lots of different videos on different direct response techniques that we use, but you have to build that foundation layer of direct response marketing. Infrastructure, if you optimize it correctly, and interestingly, optimizing infrastructure marketing looks like making it more direct response like. Okay. If you optimize infrastructure marketing, you could easily get 20 plus closings from that. We're already in top producer range. And then the icing on the cake is sphere of influence marketing, where you still might get your 2 to 3 closings per year from it. Again, now we're talking about a top producing agent because we've built the marketing pyramid right. And today's strategy, the Google business strategy, lives in this infrastructure range. This is going to be something that we set up once. We never have to think about it again. And it consistently points back business to us. The way we're going to optimize it is we're going to make it more direct response like. Now let's get into the fun part. We're going to optimize your Google business page so it actually generates leads. Most agents treat it like a business card digitally. Big mistake. And I'm going to show you the simple tweaks that transform it into a full-blown lead funnel. Everything from your name to your photo to the one link that determines whether Google sees you as irrelevant or irresistible. All right, we're going to start optimizing our profile by focusing on the business name. The name should be something that includes your name, of course, but also your business, and then something, the business name, as well as something like Realtor, real estate agent, something like that. You'll notice mine is very simple, has my name, company name. I've actually had to change it recently because I had some profile issues and the Google profile guy had me change it. It follows the same principles though. Name, company name. We want it to be keyword rich with those two things. Keep it simple. Don't start getting too cute with it. Try to put a slogan or a catchphrase or something like that. Name, company name. Again, it can have real estate agent, realtor, etc. in there as well. Okay, that's optimize number one. Optimize thing number two is we want to simplify our photos. And a lot of agents on their Google business profile have photos of every home that they've sold or homes that they've toured. We're going to actually delete all the photos in there except for 2. We want to have a headshot, and then we want to have something we call social and authority proofing. It's going to have your company. It's going to be a very simple image. It's going to have your company name. It's going to have the social proofing, and then it's going to have authority proofing. Now, what in the world is social and authority proofing? Well, it's basically borrowing from the trust of well-known entities and or logos like realtors, like MLS that the public knows, and we're borrowing from that trust by including it alongside our name. Same thing with social proofing. Everybody looks at reviews. Of course, they'll have your reviews here on this profile, but it also helps to have this image, again, to cement that social proofing idea. We've included this a bunch of templates that you guys are welcome to borrow. Again, it's part of that Google Profile Optimizer tool, which is part of the 1 hour training. Feel free to share this, like it, comment below, and you can get the tool, all that kind of stuff. I promise I'll send it to you. But we've included the Profile Optimizer templates with this image so that you guys can just basically copy it. Okay. The third thing is the bio. The bio needs to be very keyword rich with things like real estate, your city, your state, how long you've been in the business, etc. Mine, of course, pumps me up a little bit, but again, being keyword rich is important when you're creating your bio. So mine just says Levi Jones is a realtor located in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Known for his 5-star service, Levi offers results-based real estate services as an agent for 20 years in North Carolina. Again, if you're not an agent for 20 years, don't put that in there. You want it to be true too. So the fourth, and this is actually one of the most important pieces, is the website link. Don't send it to any old website. Send it to a landing page that actually captures. Okay. Now, in the Google Profile Optimizer tool, we're going to actually give you a link that you could use to a Google Forms page that will actually capture at least 10% of the visitors that go to it. The page that you're looking at right now actually captures between 30 and 40% of the people that go to it. But this is through Pipeline Pro Tools. Again, you don't have to have Pipeline Pro Tools to execute optimizing your profile, but you do have to have a landing page that will actually capture the customers that go. If they're searching online and they want to click on the website link, you don't want to send them to a random page. You want to be very specific and purposeful on sending them to a page that actually captures customers. Okay. And again, you can set this up through Pipeline Pro Tools, or if you use the Google Profile Optimizer tool, we give you a Google Forms page that looks somewhat similar. It doesn't capture as high for a number of different reasons, but it does. It's better than the average real estate website out there. Now, the final thing is the phone number. Now, there's two options here. You can either include just your phone number. We recommend that you use a phone router tool. Again, you have to do this on sign up because it's a huge pain in the rear to do this later on. You have to actually, you can't just go in and change it. You got to talk to a person. They've got to test it and verify it. Our phone router tool is very simple. It is a tool that you put a phone number in there, it forwards it to your phone, but in the meantime, it captures the lead. Again, this is so that if people call you in the middle of the night, if they call and hang up, you still capture the lead no matter what. Again, you can put your phone number in there. You just won't capture as many leads as that. Now, if you've done all that, you have optimized your Google profile. You only have to do it once, and then it's done. You'll generate leads from that forever. Once your profile is optimized, the next step is pouring fuel on the fire. And no, this doesn't require a giant budget. I'm going to show you the 3 ridiculously simple moves that we use to 20x the traffic. Let's start with some results that we had over the last 3 months. So we ran this test recently, 3-month-long test. We generated 24 leads. Now, that probably doesn't knock your socks off, but the thing with these leads are they're basically, in the sales business, we call them laydowns. They close at an incredibly high rate, much higher than most internet leads. And that's because people are searching for realtors near me, and then they are calling you. Okay. From those 24 leads, we generated 6 closings. In other words, about 1 out of every 4 leads we closed. And those 6 closings resulted in about $1.8 million in volume. Some of you are like, what market are you in? Well, we're in a very low price market, about $300,000. Of course, it would also work in your market as well. To generate that, we had a budget of about $168 per closing is what we ended up spending on this test that we ran. And we, on that $168 times 6, you can multiply it, ultimately gained us $56,000 in GCI. So that's what we're talking about here when I talk about pouring fuel on the fire. This is over and above simply optimizing your infrastructure. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about Google local service ads. It's going to take 3 very simple moves to get set up and to basically 20 extra traffic, get the kind of results that I just mentioned. So move number 1, really, really simple. And this is to get verified reviews. Okay. One of the things you'll notice when people search realtor in your area or find an agent near me, the algorithm favors people who have results. Now, you don't have to have hundreds like the results here in my local market. You actually don't have to have any more than 5 verified reviews in order to set up local service ads, but you do have to have those reviews. And I'm not going to go into all the details of how we get regular reviews on our profiles. However, I'm going to link to a video we did on exactly that. It's a really simple process. You could get reviews by this afternoon, get those at least minimum 5 if your profile is bare. And then, of course, you can continue to get hundreds of reviews over time. But you have to get verified reviews. That's move number 1. Move number 2 is to set up local service ads. That's what it's called on Google. Now, you may not be familiar with what it is, but local service ads are when your ad comes up, and these are paid ads, when your ad comes up for searches like realtor near me, real estate agent in my market, licensed realtor, things like that. And you do have to have verified reviews, but other than that, you just set a budget and forget about it. Okay. Now, in order to set up local service ads, you first have to go to the ads dashboard and set up an account. It's free to set up an account. Again, you're going to set up your budget, what feels comfortable for you. Most markets, the calls are going to be between $40 and $60 per call. Again, you only pay when someone actually calls you. So we're talking about actual leads here. And remember that these leads convert at a very high rate. So although $40 to $60 may sound high to you, if you're closing 1 in every 3 or 4 of them, well, now it's not that high at all. It's actually incredibly cheap to get that kind of closing action. Again, these are the type of calls where they say, in fact, I had one last week where they said, man, I've been trying to find an agent who will answer their phone. I need to list my property out here. And it was like that easy. So that's the kind of call that you'll typically get from the local service ads. You do have to go ahead and get screened, which means they're going to do a background check on you. They're going to verify your license and insurance, etc. And then you turn it on. You set your budget, you turn it on. It really is as simple as that. You'll begin to be put into the mix to get your, to get the calls that you've bid for. You're going to bid on a per call basis as well as how much you're willing to spend. So the max I'm willing to spend on a weekly or monthly basis. This is usually the part where some of you are already going, this is too good to be true. I've done other live transfer. Maybe you've even turned on local service ads before and you're like, people hang up sometimes or they call me in the middle of the night. If I don't get to control when and how I connect with these leads, then, it's not worth it for me, even at that cheap price. So this is the part where we amp it up with something we call the phone router tool. Okay. So the phone router tool is basically we give a number to Google that when someone calls it, we immediately capture the lead. Even if they hang up immediately, even if they call me in the middle of the night and I don't get to answer, immediately I capture the lead and it then forwards onto my phone. So again, I don't have to be sitting in front of my computer or something like that to get these calls. And so what we're really talking about is the phone router tool. Now, this is available inside Pipeline Pro Tools. There may be other services out there that offer phone router tools like this. We do, of course, have it in Pipeline Pro Tools. You can check it out at pipelineprotools.com. But this will increase the number of leads. And basically, you're going to insert the call router. Now, I will warn you, it has to be done at setup because once you put a phone number in there, Google's going to test it to make sure it works. And then the only way to change it later on is actually go through the rep. You got to talk to them. Well, why do you want to change it? It's a big pain in the butt. So you got to do it during the setup. Okay. So again, if it's something you want to explore through Pipeline Pro Tools, you can. I'm not here to sales pitch it, but in the tests that we've run, it like 2 or 3x's the number of leads that we generate when we have the phone router, because sometimes someone calls and hangs up so quickly, Google doesn't even charge us for it. And yet we've already captured the lead. So we didn't connect with them on the first try, but now we can call them back and say, hey, what's going on? And this is a little bit different than just straight caller ID, because a lot of times what comes up on our phone says Google services, and then the callback number that we get is different. So I think this is a very important piece of the puzzle here, but that's the strategy. That's how you take 3 moves, amp it up. That is it. Now spend the next 15 minutes and knock it out. Sit back while your infrastructure marketing begins to work for you. For us to help agents, we need your help. Please like the video and share it with a friend who also has an unoptimized Google business profile to help us beat the algorithm. Then comment below that you knocked it out. After you do that, we'll send you our full 1 hour long training on this playbook, where we give you all the tools, the scripts, the Google Profile Optimizer, everything you need to execute it, even without Pipeline Pro tools. Thanks. We'll see you soon.